Hi, I'm Ash from DroningON, and it's finally flight test day for the SimToo Moment drone. So we've got lovely weather for this flight test. The sun is out, barely any clouds in the sky. Since we filmed the original part 1 with the unboxing and the inspection, we've had quite a bit of feedback from other people with the Moment drone who've bought the pre-release version and had problems with hover and instability. So this is going to be very interesting. In this part, we're going to be flight testing it and seeing exactly how well or how badly it performs. So this is one thing that I do like about the Moment drone, the fact that it comes with a case, as I said in part 1. It's just a very cheap element for the manufacturer, but it does make a big difference when you're spending this much money. Now, I normally edit quite a lot of my flight test reviews so that I skip out the boring bits, but what I want to do is really show the process of unboxing from the carry case straight to getting it in the air. So battery on, press and hold the power button until it powers up. There we go. The case doubles as a nice takeoff pad as well, which is quite handy. And also note where the position of the case is, because we'll be testing this for the return to home features as well. So what I'm going to do now is turn on my Wi-Fi and then browse for wireless networks. Whilst we're doing that, obviously we're waiting for the Wi-Fi to enable, but oh, there it is already. So it's the XT200 Wi-Fi access point. That was very quick. And now we can open up the app, which is called Air Selfie. Now, since part 1, there's been lots of feedback actually from some other pre-order customers of the Moment drone. Reports of issues with handling the wind and with flyaways and having to run after it and catch it. Now, I don't know if they were early versions of the app or early versions of the firmware, but hopefully we will have no such issues here. But this is the flight test. This is where we find out. Now, looking at the app, I've already actually got 13 satellites. I've only just turned it on. So we are essentially ready to go. My general rule of thumb is not to fly unless you have at least 11 satellites. So by acquiring 13, we're well within limits there. So I'm going to walk away from the drone. I'm going to also set the camera rolling. Now I'm going to set the camera initially to resolution. Let's have a look. I'm going to set it to 1080p at 60 frames a second. Now there's some debate about EIS on this and whether it's actually enabled yet. I didn't see it at 4K, so let's see if it's enabled at 1080. Photo I'm going to leave on 16 megapixels and we'll take some whilst we're up there. I'm also going to set distortion correction on, and let's see if that gets rid of the slight fisheye that this drone seems to have. Okay, so we're now up to 15 satellites, which is good, 99% battery. This will also be a flight time test as well, so we'll see if we do get the promised 15 minutes. I'm going to start video recording, so first of all, change it onto video mode and then press record. Getting some sound effects from the app as well. I'll put the volume up to full so you can hear it. Okay, and let's take off. Now there is a bit of a breeze. Up it goes. That's going to quite an altitude actually. And it still seems to be ascending, which is a bit of a worry. Okay, well, it's stopped ascending. It's quite an altitude. So according to the app, it's gone up to 10 meters. I mean, all drones are different. Most of them rise to about 1.5 meters and then they stop. And that's what Moment drone should also have done. The takeoff warning message even states 1.5 meters, so something clearly went wrong here. It hasn't happened again since, but SimToo clearly have some work to do to avoid this bug. Now we're on the most gentle sensitivity here, so it is very, very slow. If I just rotate the drone around to face me, again, the yaw is incredibly slow. It's almost like a tripod mode, this. But the drone is now facing me. It's holding its position. I'm going to click the gimbal tilt and tilt that down so that we can see me. There we are. So remember, we're capturing video right now in 1080p, and I'll put that on the screen now. but yeah, that's looking all right. It's very stable in its position, I would say. I mean, it's wafting around a bit because of the breeze that we've got, but overall it looks nice and stable up there. I love the way that I can tilt the gimbal via these controls on the screen. That's really, really nice. So I'm actually going to increase the sensitivity of the controls here, because otherwise we're never going to get anywhere. I'm going to put them up to, going to put them into intermediate actually. Okay. And I'm going to tilt the camera up again. Oh, I love that, it's great. Interesting to note as well, the gimbal tilt is only to 0 degrees, so you can't tilt it higher. You can't tilt it so it's facing up, which could pose a problem if they do ever enable the one-axis mechanical stabilization, because it won't be able to stabilize up when you're traveling forward. But right, so put the controls back on the screen and let's have a little bit of a fly around. And off it goes. Very smooth flyer. There is a bit of a breeze coming in, so I'm yawing and flying forward at the moment. Very stable in the sky. I mean, it's really, really smooth. I'm just going to lower it down a bit and do a bit of a flyby actually. Try not to hit myself in the head. You can see it's actually leaning because the wind is flying towards the side of it at the moment. But so here we go, over flyby. Look how stable that is. So that's very smooth. Altitude wise, it's holding its altitude nicely as well. When I turn, a lot of the time with some of these small autonomous drones, they drop a bit of altitude when you turn because the flight controller is not quite calibrated or configured properly. But that's really, really smooth. This is the intermediate setting, as I say. So let's just very quickly stick that up to advanced. I'm just going to let it hover on the spot there. So sensitivity setting, advanced. Go back. Right, let's see how fast it flies now. Oh, look at that tilt. I mean, again, it's not lightning fast on the full setting. I guess it's got more potential. And it's just not been unlocked yet, but that's not bad. Okay, so let's take some photos and see what the quality of those is like. Now, obviously, I won't be able to see these until I get back, but so I'm going to turn off video, switch to photo mode, and take a photo. Got a bit of yaw drift there actually, which is a bit odd. Okay. Okay, just taking a photo. Now let's get a bit of altitude, and whilst we're doing that, we'll also tilt the gimbal down. So this is your traditional selfie shot. A bit further away from you, tilting down, and take your photo. Hey. There we go. And let's tilt it up, take a bit of a scenic photo, and we'll do a bit of an altitude test. So we'll go up a bit higher here as well. So get some altitude. Ah, now that's interesting. Okay, so I'm trying to go up higher and I can't. It looks like the altitude is actually fixed at 10 meters. It actually won't ascend any higher despite pressing the buttons on the app. So that's an app limitation that SimToo have imposed, maybe for safety, because this is only a selfie drone. But I can't take it any higher than 10 meters. Okay, well, let's do a range test then. I'm assuming the range away from us is going to be limited as well, but let's have a look. Actually, I'll take another photo whilst I'm there. And capture. We're at 61% battery at the moment. Right, switching back to video, recording video, and let's fly away. And what we'll do is after it's flown away a bit, we'll then test return to home. Now I'm getting a notice that I've got weak Wi-Fi signal, which we're about 30 meters away at the moment. Still saying weak Wi-Fi signal. Okay, it looks like we've lost signal now. Yeah, we've definitely lost contact. Now I can see the drone has stopped in the distance. Looks like it's coming back, so that's a good sign. We tested the Hubsan H507A the other day and I was really impressed at the safety features of it and just how reliable it was. It's coming straight back to us. Yeah, now let's see how accurately it flies back to us and if it stops. And look at that, directly above me. Okay, so that's good. Now, it looks like I've got a reconnect button on the app. I'm going to reconnect. Oh, it's descending. And still coming down very, very slowly and controlled. Now remember, we took off from the carry case. Let's see how accurately it lands. Well, I mean, that's not bad. That's a metre away. So just to recap there, we flew it away. It got to about 30 metres distance away, and then it invoked return to home, and it landed within a metre of the carry case where we took off. That's not bad. But it looks like at the moment this drone is limited in terms of how far you can fly away and how high you can fly it. So it is a selfie drone. This isn't a Phantom or a Mavic. It's not designed for long distance travel. So yeah, no complaints there really. In terms of temperature, so we've been flying there, not sure quite how long, but temperature wise, those motors aren't even warm. So it's very, very casual, this drone. It's not really stressing itself, which is a good sign. Okay, well, that was interesting. Right, now what we're gonna do, reconnect to the drone. We did have a reconnect option, but it didn't actually do the reconnection. So I'm gonna manually do that now. Okay, we're gonna take off, first of all. In fact, let's try a hand takeoff. This will be interesting. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Now, interestingly, it hasn't ascended to 10 meters this time. That's very odd. I'll have to try and work out with SimToo why that happened. But, so we've got a nice stable hover there. Let's tilt the gimbal down. Have a look at me with my stupid GoPro on my head. There we go. So let's try a bit of a droney going up. Okay, here we go. And up. A little bit unsuccessful because it wobbled away from me, but okay, so we've got a bit of altitude. I think the thing to try now is follow me. So I'm going to get myself in the shot first of all. I've read about follow me not being very good on this and that they are trying to improve it, so we'll see. Another thing I'll comment actually is that the controls are not proportional. It's kind of on or off. Now, I've spoken to SimToo about that. I've told them to have a look at Dobby and to use the similar kind of style they've got where you can proportionally yaw a little bit or a bit more if you move your finger more, and they're going to try. So, follow me button is on the right hand side. I'll press that button now. Bust detection or hand gesture frame. That's interesting. I'm not sure what that is. Bust detection we'll try first. I'm not sure if it's going to try and recognize my bust. I guess it'll try and find me. I'm not quite sure. Let's move and see what happens. Well, that hasn't worked. Unless I'm supposed to draw something on the screen. Let's try that again. Begin to enter. Let's keep this. Okay, bust detection. Oh, the app crashed. Okay, that's not good. Clearly, the Follow Me feature has issues and is anything but intuitive at the moment. Therefore, unfortunately, I was unable to properly test it. But luckily, this is a pre-release app and pre-release firmware. SimToo still have time to fix it. Okay, so the app just crashed. That's not very good. And obviously that's invoked return to home. So it's now gone to land again. So Follow Me not very successful at the moment. That's a bit odd. It might be that I've got the screen recorder running on the phone as well at the same time, and perhaps it doesn't like that particularly, but I don't know. So right, reconnect to Wi-Fi, scanning for networks. Getting a nice long flight time though, I'll give it that. Okay, we're connected to the drone. So now we need to start up the Air Selfie app again and click connect. Right, so let's try that again. Bit weird, I think it's lost in translation really, the instructions for the follow me mode, but let's give it a try again and see what happens. So take off. Let's see how high it goes this time. Oh, straight back down to the floor. I have a theory for why it did this. In order to quote the longest possible flight time, maybe SimToo are pushing the battery a bit too hard. 15 minutes is long for a battery this small, and it was feeling quite warm at this time. Tilt the gimbal down a bit so it can see me. There we go. Press the follow me button. Press begin to enter. Okay, now hand gesture frame. So, let's see. Doesn't seem to be following me. Maybe I need to read the instructions. Let's try bust detection again. No. Doesn't seem to want to follow me at all. So, got a power warning now. We're at 22%, which is a real shame. How frustrating. Really wanted to try the follow me because that's the mode that everyone's interested in, but it just doesn't seem to want to follow. Oh well, we'll land. I think this one's going to need another flight test. There are lots more app and firmware updates to come according to SimToo, so stay tuned for probably part 3 on this drone. So what do I think of Moment Drone so far as a pre-release product? Well, it's priced at $300, which is about £280 from Hobby Wow. That's about the same as Dobby and the Wingsland S6. Now, it's definitely better than the Wingsland S6, but so far I would say it's quite a way behind Dobby. But with some app and firmware improvements, the Moment Drone really does have potential. It's compact and lightweight, and it's very satisfying to fly. It's very stable in the air. The hover stability is also very good indoors and outside. You get around 12 to 13 minutes flight time, which is just under the quoted time of 15 minutes. It's quick and easy to get into the air, and that's important because this is a selfie drone. Return to home works very well, and it's very accurate as well. And the photos, as you could see, are of exceptional quality. That certainly impressed me the most. Now on to the negatives. In my view, the battery release is not very well designed. Yes, you can fold up the drone and it does make the release of the battery a little bit easier, but not much. The tiltable mechanism of the camera can hit the floor if not rotated upwards before landing. That of course can be fixed via an app update. The video clarity is not very good. Even in 4K, it's a grainy image and there's no sign of EIS. That's a real shame and definitely the biggest letdown of the drone so far. There is currently no visibility of the firmware update process, and we're hoping that SimToo will provide that soon. There's potentially a takeoff bug where Moment rises to the maximum altitude, as you saw in our flight test. It only occurred once, but you don't want that to occur again. And finally, the flight distance and altitude is limited. The altitude seems to be fixed to about 11 meters via the app, but that could be changed by SimToo at a later stage. However, the Wi-Fi does not seem to be particularly powerful, therefore we were only able to fly just under 30 meters away before we lost signal. So just that disclaimer again, to be fair on SimToo, this is a pre-release drone and DroningON are one of the first reviewers to fully test it. We're in communication with SimToo to pass on the issues that we've spotted, and of course we intend on filming a part 3 with some updates at a later stage. I really hope that you've enjoyed this review. Links to the Moment drone, which is available for sale right now, are in the video description. Please share this video, give us a thumbs up, but most importantly, drop a comment below because hearing from our viewers keeps us wanting to review even more brand new drones. Thanks for watching.